Welcome to the podcast, everyone. I'm Alan, your go to source for all things rehab, performance, and injury prevention. Today's topic is one that's often overlooked but can have a huge impact on how you move, recover, and even perform in your daily life. We're talking about the fascinating connection between your feet and your knees. Yes, you heard that right. Your feet, those seemingly simple structures at the bottom of your body, play a critical role in the health and function of your knees. Whether you're an athlete coming back from a knee injury, someone struggling with chronic knee pain, or simply curious about how the body works, this episode is for you. We're going to dive deep into why foot mechanics matter, how they influence your knee, and practical steps you can take to optimize this relationship. Let's start with the basics. When you think about knee pain or knee injuries, what's the first thing you focus on? Most people immediately zero in on the knee itself, strengthening the quads, strengthening the hamstrings, and maybe working on balance. But here's the thing. The knee doesn't work in isolation. It's part of a kinetic chain that starts from the ground up. And at the very base of that chain, your feet. Your feet are your foundation. Every time you walk, run, jump, or squat, the position and movement of your feet influence how forces are transmitted through your knees. Think of your feet as the directors of a play. They tell the actors, so your knees, hips, and beyond, how to move and where to go. Here's where it gets interesting. Two key movements of the foot can significantly impact your knee's range of motion and overall function: pronation and supination. So pronation, this is when your foot rolls inward. So imagine the arch of your foot flattening as you step. While some pronation is normal, being stuck in pronation can create problems. For one, it limits the ability of your knee to fully extend. Without proper extension, you know that your quadriceps can't reach their full length and position, which is critical for strength and stability. Now, on the flip side, supination is when your foot rolls outward. Picture a rigid arch that doesn't flatten enough. If your foot is stuck in supination, it can restrict knee flexion. And just like with extension, proper knee flexion is vital for your quads to function optimally. The takeaway here is that your foot position and movement directly influence your knee's ability to flex and extend. And since both of these motions are critical for healthy, pain-free movement, ignoring the foot means you're leaving a major piece of the puzzle on the table. Now, let's zoom out and talk about how the foot connects to the tibia, the shin bone, and ultimately to the knee. For your knee to move freely and efficiently, the tibia has to rotate properly. This rotation is a natural part of knee flexion and extension, but guess what? It's heavily influenced by your foot position. Here is an example. If your foot is stiff and can't move into dorsiflexion, it can block tibial rotation. This in turn can limit how well your knee bends or straightens. Similarly, restricted motion in the subtalar joint of your foot, the area where pronation and supination occur, can lead to compensations higher up the chain, putting unnecessary stress on your knee. This is why it's not enough to just strengthen your quads or your hamstrings. You need to address the mechanics of the entire system, starting from the ground up. Let's bring some science into this conversation. Studies have shown a clear relationship between foot mechanics and knee function. For instance, a 2017 study by Freeman and colleagues found that restricted range of motion in the foot and ankle can lead to compensatory patterns up the kinetic chain, which often result in knee dysfunction. Another interesting finding is that improper foot mechanics can reduce your ability to absorb shock during activities like running or jumping. This increases the load on your knees, making them more prone to injuries like patellar tendinopathy or even ACL tears. The big takeaway: by improving foot and ankle mobility, you can enhance knee function and, of course, reduce your risk of injury. All right, let's get practical now. What can you do to optimize your foot and knee connection and unlock your full potential? Here are 3 key strategies. The first one is foot mobility drills. Work on exercises that promote pronation and supination and dorsiflexion and plantar flexion. Secondly, tibial rotational drills. You know these ones, you see them all the time on my Instagram page. They are there for a reason. try them. Lastly, whole body integration. Don't just focus on isolated exercises. Incorporate movements like lunges, step up, and squats that emphasize proper foot alignment and mobility. Pay attention to how your foot interacts with the ground during these movements. So there you have it. Your feet are so much more than just the things that get you from point A to point B or the pictures that you buy on OnlyFans. They are a critical part of your knee health and function. By addressing foot mobility, tibial rotation, and overall movement mechanics, you can improve your knee's range of motion, build stronger quads, and ultimately move with more ease and confidence. So if you enjoyed this episode, make sure to share it with someone who could benefit. And as always, stay curious, stay active, and keep chasing those dreams. Until next time, take care, guys.